You know where there's not magic? New Orleans. It's just luck. This team, another one we talked about it on Sunday night. They're at
Yeah.
Minnesota. The game opened at 3, Minnesota +3, down to 2.5. We expected it to move in the Vikings direction. It did. I mentioned earlier in the show when talking about the Bears how lucky the Saints got. And all the stats are in our direction here about how terrible Carr is as a favorite. He did not cover against the Bears. They needed 5 turnovers to win. I went back and counted yesterday when I was doing my research. All of those turnovers for the Bears were in Bears territory, led to 10 points. Another was a missed Saints field goal, include a 4th down stop and a punt. Like, they couldn't convert anything. We've been talking about Derek Carr being better as he got closer to the goal line. That wasn't it. This team got very lucky to walk away from that game with a win. So now we got Josh Dobbs. There's always something weird about backup quarterbacks when they come in. It flips the script on your bet, right? Because all of a sudden, like, there's havoc that's being created in weird ways that a team has to defend against. Josh Dobbs doesn't have that this week. He might just go back to being Josh Dobbs from the Cardinals. So I don't really have a strong opinion on this game.
Yeah, another game where it feels like we're able to buy low on the Saints team. I think most people perceive what you just said, which is like the Saints got pretty lucky. They didn't play that good last week, which is true. Like, they didn't play that great. Only reason I wanted to back the Vikings because it's a fun story and it's a fun team, but the numbers move too much. The value is now on the Saints. You're getting a better team under 3 playing against, a team's backup they just brought in. Like, they're going to see the tape. The tape will be pretty simple. It's like, if you can stop Dobbs from, running outside the pocket and picking up first downs, they're dead. Like, the guy only knew when if you go back and watch the film, when they would run routes, they basically only had 5 plays to run. They must have went to him and said, "What are the 5 plays you know?" And they just ran those 5 plays. I'm with everyone. It's such a fun story, but I need to be the professional gambler I am and take the value here. The value is the Saints. Like, their defense is good. They're what I talked about. The Derek Carr in the red zone is a real thing, but they're kind of neutralizing that with the Taysom Hill aspect. Like, Taysom Hill came in. What did he do? I think he ran for a touchdown and he received a touchdown. I think my guy, I think it was Chris Raybon, said that since week 3, Taysom Hill is tied with Travis Kelce's number 1 tight end in fantasy football. So it's a thing where they're just been using him. Like, they started the season not really using Taysom Hill, and the season has gone on here. They've kind of figured out how to use him. So Vikings, they were being held up by Kirk Cousins, right? We talked all year. Like, they have a bad defense. They're the one the most blitz-heavy defense in all football because they have no talent. And Leslie Frazier just knows, I just got to blitz. Like, I don't have the dudes to cover. We got to get pressure on the quarterback, rush the quarterback. Being lost in the shuffle years, Heineke put up, 28 points against this defense and this Vikings team. It's hard for me not to want to back the Saints here. And another stat from our guy, Evan, Dobbs is 1-9 straight up as a starter, Chad. So if this number keeps moving, if this dips between 1.5, this might end up being one of my biggest bets of the week. I'm going to hate myself putting this much money on Derek Carr, but it's just that's the way the line's moving, people.
You know what's funny is sometimes I'm taking notes while we're doing the podcast so I can refer to it on Thursday and then on Sunday in our conversations about what we're going to put in there. Sometimes we start talking about a game and you say you like it, and I'm like, I'm not even going to write that one down. And then as it goes along,
That's fair.
and then as it goes along, like, I hear you talking about it more and more. I'm like, oh fuck, he loves
I
this game.
know. That's
He
how I
loves
feel.
this
That's
game.
how I feel
And
betting these
and and
games.
then you just told me it will move down. It will end up being one of your biggest bets of the week. We will have to put it in the contest, and it's making me sick because now I just started adding up, like, the contest is going to be, it'll end up being the fucking Jags +3, the Titans +1.5,
Let's
the
go.
Saints might like it'll get down to -1.5. Like, oh my God, it's gonna be fucking terrible.